am here with a book review for you today, and this week's book is The Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society. That's a lot of purrs. And it's by Marianne Shaffer or Shaffer and Annie Barrows. So, this book, a YouTube friend and I thought it might be quite interesting to both read the same book and share our different opinions on the book and kind of what we thought, like a little mini book club, really. So I, as you know, have been reading a lot of vampire books lately, and I kind of got a bit fed up of vampire books. I've still got a whole host of them on my to-read shelf, but I'm having a break. So she chose this book for me, and when I say she, I mean Marianne Kensington over on A Pocketful of Vintage. She chose this book, and she's also doing a book review over on her channel, and I'll post a link below for you to her channel. So we thought it might be quite interesting to see, you know, two people from, she's in Australia, I'm in Britain, to see kind of like, you know, she's slightly older than I am, and just to kind of see like two differing opinions on this book. So I can't wait to see what she's put up, and I haven't watched any other reviews on this book because I never do that before I read a review. So if I may occasionally do some spoilers, so if you don't like spoilers, just be aware that there may be some in this book. So let's crack on. Really interesting book. I really love books about books and books about writing and penmanship and stuff, so I was really excited to read this book. It's quite slim. It's like, I mean, there's quite a lot of afterword, but it's something like 242 pages, so it's quite a small book. And the entire book is based on letters, entirely letters. There's no narration, anything like that, which is both good and bad for me at the same time. So I'll just give you a bit of a plot. I'll read the back of the book and then I'll give you a bit of a plot synopsis. So the back of the book says, it's 1946 and Juliet Ashton can't think what to write next. Out of the blue, she receives a letter from Dorsey Adams of Guernsey. By chance, he's acquired a book that once belonged to her, and spurred on by their mutual love of reading, they begin a correspondence. When Dorsey reveals that he is a member of the Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society, Juliet's curiosity is piqued, and it's not long before she begins to hear from other members. As letters fly back and forth with stories of life in Guernsey under the German occupation, Juliet soon realises that the society is every bit as extraordinary as its name. So yeah, basically she's a writer, and you know, as it says, Dorsey. Sorry, I'm having a bad hair day today. And Dorsey writes to her, and she writes back and forth with Dorsey for a while, and she realises that there might be something in it that she could write a book about, because one of her previous books that she wrote about was about life during the war in Britain. So she thinks that there might be something to write about, you know, about the German occupation in Guernsey. So she has various communications backwards and forwards with several of the members, and she builds up a friendship with them based purely on a pen-pal relationship. And they agree to let her write a book about her, and they agree to let her write a book about them and the society and what life was like in Guernsey at the time. And Juliet feels that she can't entirely do this just based on letters all the time, so she goes to Guernsey and lives there and meets the people in person, and she does eventually, well, we presume she eventually writes a book, because it doesn't say. She communicates back and forth with her publisher, and she sends manuscripts and stuff, and they come out with an idea. They plot an idea between them, and she does come up with a concept for a book. Whether or not she actually writes a book, we don't actually know. In fact, this book was a really enjoyable read. It was pleasant. It was easy reading, very quick. because it was all letter form, some of the letters were quite short, so you could pick this up and down. It doesn't matter if you're reading another book, you can pick it up and down as you go, or read it in a whole chunk. I have pluses and minuses with the whole letter thing. You miss out on that narration and miss out on some of the world building or the life building and the character building, because you have to learn about the characters through their own voice and through the letters. So, and you obviously, events take place and they write letters backwards and forwards to each other, and sometimes you have to fill in the gaps of what took place as well. So that again for me was both a good thing and a bad thing. So it's kind of hard really sometimes to sort of describe that, but it was both good and bad. Overall, I really enjoyed this book and it was a really good read. The ending, I felt like this book just stopped. I felt like there could have been, you know, a bit more and a bit of a tie-in. It just kind of stopped, and that was it for me. So I would have liked a bit of a better ending. There was a romance in the book, and it was I could see it coming, but I was also kind of shocked because I didn't think they'd had that much of a close relationship. I mean, I know times are different now, but the whole relationship thing was a little bit odd. I could see it coming. I knew there was going to be a romance and a relationship, but I didn't expect it to kind of go the way it did. You know, sort of out of the blue, someone proposes and it's kind of like, oh, okay, and the other person says yes, and it's like, well, you haven't even had a relationship yet, but you're saying yes to marriage. So that was it. At school, we didn't really learn that much about the war. We did a little bit, but so for me that was really interesting to find out more about the war, particularly in Guernsey. I had no idea about the occupation and things like that, so it was a really good sort of like historical kind of what's the word? For me, it was really interesting to learn a bit more about the war, because obviously the war did have an impact on so many people's lives, and it still does. You know, obviously, if the war had gone a different way, things would have been totally different. So that was really interesting. But it was a really good, kind of enjoyable, wholesome read. There were you know, really nice relationships. The characters were all really likeable and nice. Really nice sort of relationships. I don't really know what else to say about this book. It was good. I enjoyed it. It was good. It didn't blow me away, but I did enjoy it. And a little bit itty-bitty. Again, good and bad points. But yeah, overall a good read, and I'm enjoyed. I've read it, and it's one that I'm like, yeah, I read that. That's really good. So yeah, I don't kind of really have that much else to say, because it was just a very pleasant, easygoing read. You could just relax and read it, learn a bit about the war. Yeah, and just enjoy the penmanship, because you really got to hear their own, each character's voice through their own penmanship. So yeah, that's kind of it. The Literary Society was all about relationships, with a few books thrown in. It was all kind of brought in to help people out in times that, you know, that were difficult. That was good. So there we go. That was my very quick, probably rambly review. If you want to see what Marianne thinks, pop over to her channel, and I'll pop a link in the description below. Thanks for watching. Bye.